Hi, Timmy.
You having a nice laugh, are you?
I mean, it's Christmas. It's Christmas morning.
Hey!
I love the way it makes me feel inside.
What's up, everyone? Adam from FWCI. This is James Acaster Hecklers Welcome, the new stand-up special. I still haven't got around to watching his Netflix specials, even though I really want to, but I just started listening to the Off Menu podcast, and I'm just loving a bit of Acaster. And this new stand-up special was a great excuse to get reacquainted with the man. So I hope there isn't much like crossover from like the previous specials in this one here, and there's mild spoilers or whatever, but I really want to watch this because I love the idea of inviting hecklers to throw shade, and Acaster is hilarious. I vibe with him so much. Everything I hear him say resonates with me on a deeply personal level. He is one of my favorite comedians, which is why I'm so annoyed at myself that I haven't made the time to go and watch his Netflix specials yet. Now, if you want to support the channel further, go to patreon.com/FWCI. That's where you can do it, and make sure you subscribe here on YouTube as well, because I will be getting to those other specials. I'll be doing more Taskmaster on the channel. I watched Acaster's season. As you can see, I got the whole gang here. Let's jump into the reaction. This is James Acaster. Hecklers welcome. I kind of hope the first thing somebody yells out is, "Poppadoms or bread? Poppadoms or bread, James? Poppadoms or bread?"
James Acaster cannot get annoyed at the audience if they heckle, talk amongst themselves, go on their phones, or are quieter than he would like.
Whoa, that's a lot of things right there.
Acaster may not single anybody out who is not heckled, especially people who are just getting up to go to the toilet, going outside for air, going to the bar, going home, or any latecomers.
Oh, that's fair, although latecomers I feel fair game.
He may only kick someone out if they are violent or use hate speech.
That's fair as well.
Trying to meticulously control every single detail in every single show he's ever done, James Acaster has to accept whatever happens.
Oh, this is how he behaves as everyone's filtering in? No hula hoop this time?
Show them how we do it! This is how we do it!
Alright, Montel.
James Acaster here, reporting for the best evening of his life. Anyway, this is the story about how once, in order to shut up a heckler, I claimed that my mother was dead.
Yeah. A classic go-to. How did this backfire, Acaster?
And then I followed it up, some people have said unnecessarily, with really recently as well. This woman should be silent for the rest of my time on stage, which she was, by the way, along with the rest of the audience.
Oh.
Trying to do stand-up comedy despite having recently buried his own mother. I've only figured it out in recent years. Yeah, I thought so.
Mike's not going too good. Yeah.
Called Hecklers Welcome, and the same goes for the tech team. If they want to punk me, they can. From the moment I started talking, everyone was like, and Mike's broke.
I did notice it.
Best gig I've ever had.
Fuck was that?
James, I've been a cabbie in London for decades now, but you do realise, if you want to be a cabbie in Norfolk, they make you do a really strict series of exams. You've got to have it in there, ready to go. It's called the Norwich.
I don't get that.
Now listen, don't worry if you didn't get that joke. Most people don't get that joke. It's
Okay.
what is known as not a good joke.
Right. Noted. You fucking shit, Acaster!
Because I've never had a joke go down as well as when I told that joke to that cab driver. It was tailor-made for that guy. He laughed so much it was definitely dangerous.
Oh.
Happened to me last year, but it's the first time in my entire life where I've actually thought to myself, I think I could be a stand-up comedian. David Byrne doing American Utopia live on Broadway. A very nice speech at the end about how important it is to vote. In front of me, a couple instantly stood up. Middle-aged hipsters, I'd say, white hipsters. Vote! Vote! Vote!
Oh, that's not necessary, guys.
But like not one person joined in with those people, and that is the best gig I've ever seen. David Byrne, number 2. Those stupid fucking idiots, number 1. I was front row for that, second row for David Byrne. Come on, Kermit. Oh, man.
Kermit, they called him. All right.
You have any idea how it feels to be toast? With a cameraman right fucking there.
Acaster, what
This
are you
guy-
doing? Let him have it.
Did I pretend a relative was dead? No? Well, then it's a success. Honestly, man, I didn't know why I'd said that to that audience on that night. I thought it was nuts.
Panic is why you said it.
But what I learnt about myself during lockdown was I don't like doing stand-up comedy.
Okay. Noted.
Excitement and nervousness, they're actually the same emotion chemically in your body. How you choose to interpret that emotion.
All right, thanks for the information there, man.
I'm inside a stage most nights of the year going, I'm excited. Don't care if that sounds arrogant. I'm really brave doing this job. Look, I'm not saying I'm like a fireman or a soldier or anything, but
I feel like he's trying to bait the audience into saying something.
single out that individual in front of the entire audience. I'd come back with something witty. Like, shut the fuck up. Never fucking come and see me again. That's funny. Or the golden classic, go fuck yourself. But if you're walking on stage, like, I've started eating apricots recently. Choke on shit, you I hope you fucking die.
There's a bit of a shift in mood at that point, yeah.
It's quite the tonal shift. No one ever enjoyed that.
Yeah, agreed.
Watching me like this. Which, by the way, that's how I watch everything. That's me watching the funniest comedian I've ever seen in my life. Nish is good. I think I've laughed out loud as part of an audience twice my entire life.
Really? Jesus.
I laughed when Jack Black kicked the dog off the bridge. And I laughed when Mini-Me humped the laser. They're the two times that this sophisticated fella, the comedian will say something like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. Oh, did I cross the line? They'll never be like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. Was that underwritten and poorly performed? Comedy always comes from a place of love, okay?
I don't know if I'd buy into that.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Agreed.
Hate that comedian, hope they're dead. I do, I hope they're... Worst audience I've ever been in. I was 13 years old, school assembly. The only thing you respect less than stretching is anyone who appears vaguely religious. Absolutely tore this prick to ribbons. As soon as he walked on stage, we identified he was physically strong, but mentally weak. The most pathetic thing is this yoga instructor going, please children, if you don't stop screaming, I can't tell you my secrets.
Oh, that's
Still
not
makes me
good.
smile, I love it. So sad.
Yeah, it is.
When I was 5, my grandmother came into my primary school class to give a talk about the spinning wheel.
What? The
And
spinning
that's not
wheel?
normal where I'm from either. Then I grew up and realised it was weird, but by then she'd passed away. I couldn't ask her why it had happened. So I asked my parents, and they said we weren't aware that had happened.
What? Grandma, what are you doing?
She put it in front of us. There's like,
Like a roulette thing?
I fucking love this.
Oh, wait, no, it's a sewing thing. Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
Oh, I remember how she ended her set. At the end of her set, she goes, who wants to come up here, have a go on the spinning wheel? Let's face it, I don't have to end this story. You know how this story ends. You know what happens next, at least. You know she didn't pick me. She picked 3 other kids, and I did the classy thing and burst into loud, unignorable tears.
Wow. And the parents were never told about this.
So I couldn't stand at the spinning wheel like the other kids had done and use the pedal with dignity. Instead, my grandmother's operating the pedal. She sits me on her knee. I'm just lolloping around. One hand holding the wall here. And that, it's important to note, was my first time ever in front of an audience. And when I told my therapist that story, that's why, James. That's why everything. Every time you're on stage in front of an audience, not just you up there, that little boy's up there as well. And you've got to protect that boy.
Okay, what the fuck does that mean?
Stand-up comedy is already pretty difficult. Now I've got to protect a boy every time I'm up here. Who's looking in his parents' bedroom mirror and practicing his Prince Charles impression. That kid needs a lot of protecting. For context, I'd entered the school talent show and said I could do impressions when I couldn't do impressions.
All right.
Kid, he does an amazing McConaughey. All right. Yeah, that kid's good. Do you want to do some more McConaughey for him? Switch the clip now. Oh. What other McConaughey films are there?
Who's your hero? And I said, myself in 10 years' time. And I will always be my own hero in 10 years' time. And I thank you for this award, and I thank the Academy. Thank you very much.
Fucking hell, that deserves some heckling there.
My name is Prince Charles. Now, I know it's been a long build-up, but I'm going to put a pause in there. We're halfway through the impression. My name is Prince Charles.
Oh, he steps on the cat?
That's the cat. And that is how long my career as an impressionist.
Hello, I'm Prince Charles. That's the cat.
But the very next morning,
At least there's a joke in there.
all I see most nights when I look out into the audience is my own 6-year-old face looking back at me in the mirror going, that doesn't sound like Prince Charles. Why is there a cat in this? Could have been worse.
Could have done Prince Andrew in the 90s.
Huh?
Oh, Jesus.
Would you, what's your name, the person who heckled that? Danny, yes, made up name. Danny, can you do an impression of Prince Andrew in the 90s, please? Not wise. That should have been what he said in the 90s, to be fair. That would have been good. That would have saved us all a lot of trouble.
Man, we are 30 minutes into this, and that's our first heckle.
All I wanted to do for the rest of my natural-born life was enter and win amateur dog shows. But she was not what I would refer to as competition ready. A tail that went directly upwards like a dodgem, and ears that came out like handlebars. And we all agreed as a family we had to take that one home with us, or we'd worry about her for the rest of our lives. Goes, okay, you can have a dog under one condition. I get to name it. You know when you realise your parents are just little kids as well?
Yeah, right there.
I wanted to name it Minnie. That's cute, but I don't think you needed to grab the wheel on this one. It's not spelt how you think.
All right, how's it spelled then? David?
How's it spelt then? Champ. M-I-N-N-E-Y.
Great. Yeah?
10 years ago, I taught this boy, and his name was Stephen Minney, and that's how his name was spelt.
So you want to name it after some dude that you taught years ago?
I remember being confused but angry at the same time.
I bet you were.
Don't get me, I'm sure as soon as we left the room, my mum was like, right, who's this boy and why does he mean so much to you? But we were just like, our dad's weird, isn't he? We got a weird dad. I agree with him that that's funny. I think it's objectively funny, face value funny.
Really?
If your kids want a dog, to name that dog after some completely different kid who they've never met in their lives.
Alright, yeah, I see it.
Me and my brother and sister would talk about Stephen Minney all the time. Long conversations speculating what he might be up to as an adult. How do you think Stephen Minney earns a crust? I found out what happened to Stephen Minney when I was 10 years old.
Yeah?
I joined the Cub Scouts.
Is he doing well? Is he in the borough?
Stephen Minney was my Cub Scout leader.
Oh,
It's pure coincidence. I know that Kettman's a small town, but that's wild.
yeah, fuck.
They call themselves, and if you've not ever been involved in Cub Scouts, heads up, this will sound bananas.
Yeah, okay, I'm on the edge of my seat.
They call themselves names of characters from the Jungle Book.
Oh. Alright, I guess it's fairly okay-ish, I guess.
True story. They call themselves like Bagheera, Arcala. You know, better names for dogs than Stephen Minney. That's what they all call Duty to God and to the Queen. And if I didn't say it, I was not permitted to play with a foam football.
Yeah, it's a bit culty, isn't it?
I had no idea that Shere Khan was Stephen Minney. That was Stephen Minney. The Stephen Minney, are you joking? That's not funny if you've made that up, Dad. And what he didn't then tell me was, obviously, don't tell Stephen Minney that.
Oh, James.
Because grown-ups don't get as excited as children when random people name dogs after them.
I would be honoured if somebody named a dog after me.
Yeah, he goes by Shere Khan these days. I know him pretty well. We named our sausage dog after you, Stephen Minney. She's a little runt. My father has never forgotten you.
Yeah, and it's weird.
My sister likes to think you found love in the arms of another. Stephen Minney, the sausage dog, is right here next to me.
It's not Stephen Minney, it's Minnie.
And most of the categories were based on appearance. Now, this dog is beautiful to us. But I knew these industry heads weren't going to get it. So I found a more whimsical category. Dog with the waggiest tail.
Oh, but it's got a Dodgem car tail.
You know that it doesn't end with the phrase, and then we won the dog show. While grown-ups on picnic blankets point me out to their mates and laugh with abandon, just properly going for it, then I did what by now was my calling card, burst into tears.
Again.
Finding out Jesus was dead, still to this day, is the most I've ever cried. I found out when I was 4. I've been raised Christian since day 1, but no one had told me the twist yet. All I knew was that I had a best friend who loved me very much. Life was pretty sweet for James Acaster. Easter Sunday, and everyone's celebrating more than usual. Praise be, this is why we come to church. What are we celebrating? Something awesome by the looks of it. He's dead. He died. They better not be talking about who I think they're talking about. And then some fucking old man walked past me. He's like, "Oh, James, you okay? Why are you crying, mate?" Jesus is dead! Oh, Jesus died. Huh? Spoilers? Well, you won't believe what happens next in the story. He said, "Oh, don't worry. He died for you."
Oh, so it's your fault. You did it.
Just because of all the bad things you've ever thought, said, and done. Yeah, that's why they publicly executed him.
It's insane. It's absolute insanity.
I'll explain to you in Mel Gibson level detail what being crucified is like.
What is with Christians and this shit?
That church is where I did my actual first ever gig. My dad wrote it, and no way around this, cast himself in the role of God. Fun fact, that's the only thing I've ever told my therapist that made him laugh out loud. Every time you're on stage in front of an audience, not just you up there.
Well, you got to protect the little dog.
Then right here, there's a little sausage dog just giving me absolutely nothing. I want to have a go at you lot for not laughing. Really, what I'm saying is, wag your tail, Stephen Minney, please! Please, wag your tail, Stephen Minney. Worst time I've ever bollocked an audience for being too quiet was when I was booked to read a Roald Dahl story to some preschool children. When I'm on my way to Roald Dahl Day, I do have the rather unrealistic expectations in my head of, well, I presume I'm going to change these kids' lives today. Which, looking back, is 100% how that yoga instructor felt on his way to my school.
Are you going to give him your secrets?
Reading George's Marvellous Medicine to abject silence. And all I can hear the whole time is Floella Benjamin having a much better gig in the banquet hall beneath me. I'm on a stool. There's like 35 kids sat on the floor in front of me. If you've been paying attention to the show, I shouldn't have to tell you why that's triggering for me. She grew so tall, she smashed through the ceiling. All of them just sausage dogging it the whole time. Here, what do you get when you guzzle down sweets from down there? In the moment where I snapped, when I had to do an impression, I don't know if that's got anything to do with it.
Would you like a heckle from up here?
Would I like one from up there? I tell you what, I would like the most polite person in the world to do it, absolutely.
Why is this audience so quiet?
I would love a heckle from up there. What's your name?
You'd love a heckle from fucking anywhere at this point.
Do your heckle.
I need a bit of time to think.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Fucking hell, Stuart. You don't even have something prepared.
Would you like a heckle from down here?
Would I like a heckle from down here? You've already got imitators. Your first joke ever. And you got a copycat on the front row. George! This is the grandmother. Here we go.
God, we're still doing this one. Man, these heckles are piss weak. Absolutely piss weak.
You putrid little worm! You revolted little boy! Get me out of here this instant! And then the next words out my mouth were, are you enjoying this or what? I saw that James Acaster. Don't bother. That was the first of 6 groups of children I had to read to that day. Spoiler alert, had a go at all of them.
Oh, that's a long day.
I looked at one kid on his own on the front row and said at a talking volume, silence again, brilliant. So that's him for the rest of his life. Because look, that's what I've got to remember as well when I'm up here. Look, priority number 1, I've got to protect the boy, sure.
And the dog.
They're going to grow up, sit down in an audience and go, why do I immediately feel nervous for the performer? Why is that? And look, all the stories I've told you tonight, I've thought about over and over in my head, especially during the lockdowns. I'm going to make out we had exactly the same experience. I'm loaded to fuck.
Yeah, you got that Ghostbusters money.
Before lockdowns, I was a workaholic. I was burning the candle at both ends, no mistake. Then lockdown came along and it forced me. You already make enough money from your food podcast.
Papa Dam's old bread, James.
I was doing better in the daytimes as well, looking after myself, started doing yoga. Where's that been all my life? They keep those things a secret from you in school.
Yeah, they do. If only there was a way to access those secrets.
You know me, you know this half of the equation already. All you need to know about her is that once she went to get her hair coloured at the hairdresser's, and for reference, so that she got the right colour that she wanted, she brought along a photo of a horse. It wasn't just a photo of a horse either. I asked to see it, because I wanted to see if they got the colour right. She showed it to me. It was a meme of a horse. A horse meme, you know? And then the meme said, maybe she's barn with it. Maybe it's neighbourly. You know neigh, like when a horse talks?
High quality comedy right there.
Guess I'd like to look like I'm barn with it, if that's possible. It's on a train from London to Kettering. My carriage got taken over by a small gang of teenage boys.
Oh, okay. Causing a
If we could all
ruckus.
just be adults and not pretend that that's not terrifying, that'd be great. You know what I mean? They're throwing stuff, they're shouting and swearing at the top of their voice.
What the hell am I looking at?
It rebounded off of a window, boom, boom, nearly took a grown man's eyes out.
Damn, this is pretty hectic.
Exactly how he used to deal with the bullies when he was in school. There was a guy, like a rich-looking businessman in his 50s, sitting further down the carriage. Everything expensive. The kids surrounded him. They started calling him shitbag, because he had a shitbag. Responded to these kids by going, "Yeah, what a shit bag, am I right, fellas? What kind of a loser would own a bag this shit?"
Oh, that's fucking pathetic. Yeah, have some dignity, bro.
At one point, all the kids got their textbooks out from school and they start ripping up the pages.
Oh, look out.
And a gang, always men, they could be 13, they could be in their 60s, but they've decided to intimidate everyone else because they've not processed their own shit yet. A lone woman, completely single-handedly, is forced to confront the entire gang while men like me sit there going, "Please let this work." You should all be ashamed of yourselves. And before she got any further, the leader cut her down. He shouted her down, said a bunch of shit that I'm hoping, because he's 13, he doesn't understand the full weight of.
Oh, God.
But it was fucked.
Yeah.
He's bold, no hair man. Had no hair in his head, this man. So, they absolutely annihilated him.
Oh, really? Leave the baldy alone.
Eyeballs trembling, just staring at these kids. Then the doors ding to shut. And as they're shutting, he just goes, "Your parents do not love you!" And then it's shut, and then the train went.
Oh! Burned. That's gonna stick with him. That's a detonator. Recently.
I'm gutted that I myself did not think of that callback. I'm actually glad that I didn't think of it, because otherwise I'd be furious right now. If that was my next line and you had said it.
That would have been good.
The delivery of it was very morbid. Maybe one of them very recently buried their mom. Sent a chill up everyone's spine. I will take it. Hold on a second. That guy's just gone way too far. Who's the person who shouted to give me a little wave? Hello, mate. How are you? What's your name? Richard. What is wrong with you, mate?
Yeah, I reckon, Richard. That's a pretty sensitive topic there, buddy.
Your parents do not love you! They're dead? Yeah, okay. Let's do it all again. Everyone remember what they said. Structurally, I love that. That's a structural callback. It's great to hear it. Absolutely. You know, I'm annoyed on two levels. I'm annoyed that... First of all... Because otherwise I'd be very annoyed that you just got to the punchline before me. But that's great. Their parents were dead.
Come on.
Who said that? Give me a wave. Who said that? What's your name? Richard. What's wrong with you, Richard? What is wrong with you, mate?
Great effort to run all this back, too.
I sat in the back row, praying to God that these kids were fans of Would I Lie to You? Leaning against the wall behind me, the back wall. In my memory, they've got toothpicks in their mouths. I know that that's not real.
They're the kids from Greece? Sorry, the grown men from Greece?
I don't sit there and scroll on my phone like a normal person. I look out the window like an Enid Blyton character. Fuck you looking at?
Yeah, that's always a great start to any conversation.
Someone says, "Oi," you got to acknowledge them. But if you look at someone, you're asking for trouble. My only way out of that would have been if this kid said, "Oi," and I'd gone, "Yes? How may I help you, young chap?" I'm 36 in this story. Scientifically impossible for me to be cheeky to a 13-year-old boy. But I didn't say that to him. I didn't know what to say to this kid. I've seen everyone try every approach with these teenagers.
Yeah, and you don't want to get fucking stabbed or something.
When it came to hecklers at gigs, I've been talking about it loads during therapy sessions over Zoom that I could afford any time I felt like it. Why are you trying to scare me?
Did you say it like that?
Everything about him changed. The whole bravado just melted away. He was just a 13-year-old kid again. His face was proper like, what have I become? Like he's trying to take it all in, what's gone on.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
This wasn't in the manual. I need your help back here. This one's saying he's scared. He said, "Oi."
So I looked at him and he said, "Fuck you looking at, so what do you want from me?"
And I know that sounds silly to you, but I can't deal with that. So this is really scary right now. I'm genuinely scared. And he looked at me. Right, give him some room. He's scared. Back away from him. Back away.
What?
What are you scaring people for?
You're scaring everybody, you dickheads.
I could have said that. I've been scared the whole time. What are you talking about? You threw a bottle of Coke in my eyes. It's fucked up. They all had to file past me to get to the door, these kids. I don't want to boast, but 4 out of 7 fist bumps. Pretty good going. That's pretty good.
That is pretty
It's not
good.
as cool when they're accompanied by the phrase, sorry we scared you, but I'll take it. You were the scariest of them all, little man. Home safe. Home safe. What else you been lying about over the years? What's this? They didn't leave you alone. But they did. Everything in that story, 100% true.
I believe it. I believe it.
There is one part of the show which I did fabricate. I'll just come clean now and we can all leave.
Oh, okay. What are you lying about?
It's when I told you that Stephen Minney was my Cub Scout leader.
Ah, that's disappointing.
He was my adventure scout leader. I was 15. I didn't want to admit that to you at the time.
Oh.
But that is what happened. And he wasn't called Shere Khan, he was called Steve, and I still didn't put it together. But I didn't know what would happen if I told you you could do whatever you wanted. And what I've learned is you were doing whatever you wanted anyway.
Yeah, there was not a lot of heckling.
Laughter wall to wall, to heckling constantly, to one person heckling and the whole room turning on them, to gigs that...
Really? I want to see that.
Look, if you haven't enjoyed the show tonight, please take some consolation in the fact it used to be a lot worse. A lot worse.
Oh, he's doing yoga in these little things as well, I just realised.
Brought the boy with me, of course. If I'm going to put him on stage in front of you guys but not take him to Disney, come on, I'm not a monster. I took the boy with me, she brought the girl along, and they had a great time. The whole week, the boy...
Oh, their inner child, that's very cool.
Every past version of yourselves is getting on with each other as well. And you don't have to pretend.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But that's what happens if you actually write comedy from a place of love. It's not funny, that's the shittest bit of the show.
What the fuck is going on there? Who is the party gator? Acaster's stand-up, from what I've seen, I have seen the, what's it called? Cold Lasagna, 1999, I think it is. He's got a very different pacing to a lot of people. He takes time to sort of let these tangents sort of like peter out, and he just sort of adds on to it. And I'm sure it's all very scripted. I don't think it's just him going on a tangent. It's just the pace that he chooses to tell his jokes at. But this one wasn't as funny as 1999, that's for sure. And it's interesting hearing him talk at the end about how he's inviting people to heckle and finding that most people don't want to heckle and most people are just there to enjoy the show, which is a kind of a nice message to have. And the advice he gave at the end about, you know, what makes a good relationship, I think that was very poignant as well. But I feel like we could count the number of heckles in this show on one hand, and for a show called Hecklers Welcome, just felt like there wasn't anywhere near enough interaction with the audience in this particular special. But he still had some great stories to tell, and I still feel like he is one of the comedians whose point of view, the age that he is, his experience and everything just resonates deep with me. And there are a bunch of jokes in here where I was saying the exact same thing that he was going to say next as well, because I feel like there's a few people like this where all I can say is we grew up on the same shit and we've got that same comedy framework in our DNA, and we enjoy the same things and we have the same tendencies. And I feel that with Acaster, what's her name? Martha Howard Douglas from Ghosts, who the lady who plays Lady Button. The way that she delivers a lot of her lines, there's so much, there's some kind of familiarity there for me when I watch her do that, and it just makes it resonate with me. So even though I don't really feel like this was his better special, I mean, I've seen 2 of them, and this one I think was quite a notch lower than the last one that I watched, I still enjoyed it. But let me know in the comments what you thought about this one. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my reactions to Taskmaster, Ghosts, Horrible Histories. I did the last Acaster stand-up and I reacted to the episode of the Great British Bake Off that he was in, that he's talking about on the stand-up. So all of that is in one video. Appreciate the support, and as always everyone, be well, stay safe, look after your friends, ta-ta, and farewell.